make yourself more than just a man. If you devote yourself to an ideal, then you become something else entirely.
Before we start, I would like to clarify why I have not uploaded videos a lot. My schedule is very busy, so I do not get much time to sit down and use my robot voice to do dialogue and edit my videos. So from now on, the current voice you hear is when I multitask in order to release my videos on time. The usual robot voice you heard in my previous videos will still happen, but only when I have free time. I hope my audience watch my content for what I have to say about a superhero topic and not be annoyed at the two voices I use. There are a few things to understand before watching this series. The first thing is that martial arts play a huge role, as the creator is the same one that made Jackie Chan Adventures. The second thing is that during the making of the series there was a bat embargo which limited the villains the series could use. The third thing is that the suit, cowl, gloves, and boots are actually dark blue to the point where they may look black at times. This is a middle ground for those that like blue cowl or black cowl. The fourth thing is that the series has a big goal of world building for the Dark Knight. The fifth thing is that this Batman is overpowered in terms of martial arts skills, technology, and knowledge, so they do nerf him at times. The final thing before we analyze the episode is that the series does have a movie, which I will analyze when it is the right time.
What's that?
The first thing we see is the Batarang. This is much bigger than the traditional ninja star-sized ones we see from different iterations. It follows more closely to the early comics where it was like a boomerang. We do get to hear really cool background music as the Batmobile and Batcave tunnel system is first shown. I personally do like the music. As for the Batmobile, my theory on how it works will be later in this video. The tunnel, however, appears to be all throughout Gotham. We saw in that clip that he used a dumpster, and throughout the series we see other exits. Due to this, I could claim that this Batman has the biggest Batcave. Another thing is that in the back we do see a machine that he will be using in the third episode of the series.
It's an anniversary, Master Bruce. 3 years ago tonight, you first donned cape and cowl.
Crime flies.
Chop chop, make a wish.
I wish. I
wish they were here too. Very much so.
To the memory of Thomas and Martha Wayne. The reason I became the Batman.
Alfred tells us that Bruce has been Batman for 3 years. Based on the first scene in the episode, we can assume it was just against the usual criminals. The mention of Thomas and Martha Wayne means that Joe Chill did kill them. I do wonder if he built the Batcave, Batmobile, and gadgets before or during year 1.
Chief Rojas, can you verify rumors that it was the Batman who apprehended crime boss Rupert Thorne and his gang last night?
Do you know of anyone who's actually seen this Batman? Because he's what's called an urban legend.
I find it interesting that the news and the police have no actual images of the Batman. The city cameras have not spotted him, even though he uses a Batmobile. Unless Rojas is not telling the full truth. Which might also mean that Batman has been stealthy for 3 years straight.
Detective Ethan Bennett, meet Detective Ellen Yin, formerly of Metropolis PD. Their loss.
Howdy, partner.
Welcome to Gotham.
We meet Ethan Bennett and Detective Ellen Yin. Now I think these are original characters and not actually from the comics. I also do not recall ever seeing any of them in other iterations.
Rest assured, Master Bruce, you're never far from the Batcave with the modern miracle of Batwave.
Alfred shows Bruce the Batwave communication device, which looks like a touch-screen phone. The device allows Bruce to see messages the Batwave computer sends to him as well as two other things. Those two things are in later episodes of the series. We see that the Batwave checks the police computers on criminal alerts. Then it shows them on the computer before sending them to the Batwave communication device. Since it's a quick scene, so I assume you also did not realize that the Batwave is doing this while turned to idle. It turns not only the computer but the entire Batcave on after the criminal alert. This is the part where I say my theory on how the Batmobile works. The Batmobile has blue energy, which is some kind of energy and is not actually fire. During the Batmobile scenes in the series, we always see the same blue energy go to the sides of the Batmobile. If it was fire, then we would see fire come out of the sides. Based on the way the energy is released from the back, we can also assume that this blue energy hits the air particles in order to accelerate rather than go through the air like fire does. It really shows how advanced the Batmobile is, as its blue energy is not used by any other Batman. It is a completely new and futuristic type of energy. I did not show this part of the clip, but based on how the Batmobile stopped near Bruce, we can assume it uses a satellite image map to know where to go, as well as using collision warning systems in order to avoid hitting obstacles. One final thing I forgot to mention is in this episode Ethan Bennett says that the Batmobile has no matching tire tracks, which means Bruce found a way to make the Batmobile tires have no tracks at all. We see the grapple hook. It looks much bigger than the one from Batman the Animated Series and is not a grapple gun like in the movies. We also see that it is made from an extremely strong material, as it breaks through layers of concrete almost easily. Throughout the series we will see more of its functions and upgrades.
Happy days ahead!
Joker in this series always has the most odd equipment. The one in the clip is not a card at all. It's just painted like one. It is actually really sharp metal. That's how it was able to stick into the concrete. If you have seen the Adam West Batman, then the expression Batman uses here may look familiar. It is an Easter egg or a reference. I guess the writers or animators were fans of Adam West Batman. That shot of Batman grappling into the moon is really cool. That's all I can really say about it. I might even use it as the thumbnail for this video.
Sir? A stranger in the Batcave?
Tonight we'll make an exception.
Oh my. Chap could use a dentist.
Or a medic.
We get a look at the medical station in the Batcave. I do not know what the device Batman is using is called. But when Batman mentions a medic, he is referring to how Alfred was a medic in the military before he became a butler for the Waynes.
Smile, Gotham!
My old hideout's a shambles!
If I find the old hideout, I find this Joker.
We get the scene where Batman uses his memory to figure out what Joker is planning or is hiding. Batman also kept one of the cards to analyze. Which means he knows that it legit is metal and will be even more careful when Joker uses the metal cards again.
Yet we're linked, you and I, like comedy and tragedy. Two sides, same coin.
Joker mentions two sides of the same coin. That is referring to how in the comics the main villain in some way is the opposite of the hero. So Batman is justice while Joker is chaos. Other examples of opposites are Green Arrow and Prometheus, Flash and Reverse Flash, Superman and Lex Luthor. Earlier I mentioned that the creator of the series worked on Jackie Chan adventures. The music you just heard is the type of music that would be in that series. I guess you can say it is a callback. Most people think that the grapple scene right there is a reference to Spider-Man 2, but it is not. Spider-Man 2 was released on June 30, 2004. This Batman series had already had this episode done long before Spider-Man 2 released. We see Batman use the same vehicle calling device on his utility belt. This time it is the Batboat that comes and not the Batmobile. Which means when he clicks the button the Batwave checks his location before deciding and sending in the best vehicle that Batman needs at the time. This also seems like a good spot to analyze the Batboat. We do not see the same blue energy the Batmobile uses. We also do not see any type of large propeller, which means it is not like the boats that have a large fan on the back. The Batboat uses what is called a pump jet engine. It is a real-world engine used on large submarines. The way it works for the Batboat is that over water the pump jet engine intakes air and pushes it back at a faster rate. This makes the Batboat accelerate. When underwater the pump jet engine intakes water and pushes it back at a faster rate. This accelerates the Batboat. In the scene the Batboat also uses a larger grapple hook instead of a harpoon.
My precious gas! Passed by a party pooper!
I had a different punchline in mind.
We see Batman use two of his gadgets. One is a small breathing tube for underwater. The other is a test tube for collecting samples.
Time changes nearly everything, but the mission and the legend of the Batman lives on.